Jet is one of the best episodes in Avatar: The Last Airbender. The main reason is the titular character that presents the moral dilemma. The question this episode asks is, are civilians guilty of the sins of their nation? This is a mature question for a kids show or a family show, but Avatar has been known to treat its audience with respect. The story does a great job of handling this question because it doesn't make it preachy. It accomplishes this by showing both sides of the argument and giving both sides reasonable and logical support for their position. Jet believes that civilians are guilty of their nation's sins. Sokka believes they are not. Jet's beliefs are rooted in his backstory. His parents were killed by fire soldiers, so he hates the Fire Nation. The hate extends to their civilians, which is why he's willing to harm them. This sympathetic backstory allows the audience to understand why he believes what he does, and it makes his more evil actions understandable. His occupation is leading the Earth Kingdom freedom fighters against the Fire Nation. Even his job is rooted in his beliefs, which are rooted in his backstory. He first externalizes the extension of his belief by beating up an old man who was from the Fire Nation. Then he raises the stakes by blowing up the dam. It would kill fire soldiers, but it would kill more civilians. He's willing to do that for the greater good because all Fire Nation is guilty, civilian or soldier. One could argue that he went too far, but I believe it's completely in line with his core belief. Although Sokka wins the moral debate by the end, showing which side the writers are on, Jet is backed by strong enough writing that his position doesn't feel like a straw man. I wouldn't be surprised if many viewers ended up agreeing with him up until a certain point, maybe even all the way. This is the first step in avoiding getting on a soapbox. You present both sides of the debate as having a point, but then you make one side win. The way they make Jet lose the moral battle is by having him do something that the audience would perceive as evil. In theory, the debate is like a Schrodinger's cat. If I just ask, are civilians guilty of the sins of their nation, you would need more information to make your decision. The information that Avatar provides is what definitively sets Jet in the wrong. In a more pessimistic, morally gray story, the civilians could actually have contributed to the Fire Nation's sins, which would push Jet's beliefs to a morally good side. But because the civilians are shown to be harmless and incapable of fighting, we know they're innocent. In this specific instance, they aren't guilty, which allows Jet to become the clear villain of the story and the lie in the moral debate. That's how you write a good moral debate without strawmanning the side you want to lose. Rather than just writing it so that the opposing belief is wrong in every context, you make it so that in the specific context of your story, the opposing belief is wrong. Even if you believe it's wrong in every context, narrowing it down to the context of your story prevents you from appearing to be lecturing the audience on a soapbox. This thematic debate is well written, but the story makes things more interesting by connecting the two debaters, Sokka and Jet. There's a subplot revolving leadership that enhances the dynamic between the two. It's one that could exist without the moral dilemma. Sokka and Jet are opposites as leaders and warriors. Sokka's leadership is called into question by his allies, meanwhile Jet is a charismatic leader that has full respect and authority from his allies. At the very start of the episode, Sokka shows good planning by saying that they shouldn't fly on Appa, but his allies don't take him seriously and continuously mock him. To further their similarities, Sokka and Jet both lost their parents to the Fire Nation, and they're both non-benders with signature weapons. However, their combat ability is juxtaposed. Sokka can handle some nameless soldiers, but he isn't on Jet's level, where he can take on a master bender like Aang in a 1v1. Even in the first action scene, Jet steals all of Sokka's opponents because he's better. Jet is basically a better Sokka, except for their thematic beliefs. This contrast makes them interesting foils. Jet is the superior leader, but Sokka has the superior morality. They each have what the other lacks. This plays a nice role in the plot. Jet could have been an unfriendly rival to Sokka, but instead, his charisma extends to the point of realizing Sokka's insecurity and making him feel good about himself. All of this goodwill that Jet extends makes the plot twist villainy surprising. It also makes it so that no one believed Sokka when he told them that Jet was crazy. To Aang and Katara, it looked like Sokka was jealous, which would make sense based on how Jet was a superior leader. But their lack of trust in Sokka's leadership, Jet's manipulation and lies, and Katara's romantic subplot all help in moving them away from Sokka. By the end, Sokka shows that he was right and tactically outmaneuvers Jet and the freedom fighters, redeeming his skills as a leader. Hiding Sokka's perspective to make it look like he didn't warn the people in time was a great way to execute a plot twist. Katara's romantic subplot made Jet's betrayal more personal. On top of that, there are good setups and payoffs added. At the start of the episode, Momo gets caught in a booby trap. Later, Sokka uses those traps to free himself from Jet's crew. In Jet's introduction, they get blasting jelly. This is what they use to blow up the dam at the end of the episode. On Sokka's mission with Jet, he saves an old man. This man helps Sokka get the civilians to trust him when he tells them to evacuate. This is one of the greatest episodes in Avatar. The different elements of writing work in harmony. Sokka and Jet represent the sides of the moral dilemma phenomenally well, but they also foil each other in their skills as leaders and warriors, enhancing their juxtaposition. Both of these elements play important roles in shaping the plot. This might be the show's strongest episode.